Yo guys, today we are wrapping this series up. I know it's been a while. I was playing the Great Ace Attorney, both games. That took some time. It took way longer than I thought it would be, but I finished it. It was good. I will do my reviews for that game. I'm not going to do it in a batch like I did with the Ace Attorney 1 videos. I'll do those whenever I can. Just get one video up, then it'll take a while to get the next one up. But for now, we are going to finish the last batch of unpopular characters, and these will be the students from V3. Now, surprisingly enough, I thought most of these picks were easy. I only struggled with one option here. So my picks for this one were Ryoma, Kurumi, Angie, Kurakio, and Tsumugi. And if you want to know which one I struggled with, it's the first person we're going to talk about today, Ryoma. Ryoma's actually a character that I think is decently popular, but at the same time, I'm just not sure. There's a chance he's more popular than characters like Himiko, Rentaro, and Kibo, but I'm just not sure, and I just went with Ryoma in the end. Now, I do apologize if these V3 entries aren't as in-depth as the other characters from the first two games, and that's just because I can't remember too much about V3. It's the one I'm least refreshed on, so it's the one I've forgotten the most of, but I can say that I remember really liking Ryoma's character. Now, a lot of people think Ryoma's maybe a little too bland because he never got his development before he died, but I strongly disagree with the notion that he's bland because he died too early. Ryoma gave up on his life because he had no one to live for, and it's a very tragic death. What makes it better is learning about his past and how he had to give up tennis because he had to fight for his life and kill people because of it. So yeah, overall, I didn't mind that part. He got so much screen time. There were many scenes where Shuichi and Ryoma were together in his lab. He had quite a bit of involvement in chapter 1, and we got to learn so much about him in chapter 2 that I think he was the best character to kill off in chapter 2. I honestly thought he was gonna live, but I am not mad that they killed him off right there because it made a lot of sense. They gave him so much screen time that I am totally fine with that. I thought he was a strong character. So yeah, I really do like Ryoma. So next up we got Kurumi, and I think Kurumi is at her best at the very end. The end of the trial and the post-trial where she's breaking down has got to be her best moments because it always reminds me about why I like the series in the first place. She tries to do whatever she can to survive, and I feel like she has the most realistic reaction to an execution about to take place. It actually reminds me a lot about Leon and how he reacted in his post-trial. Kurumi really tries to do anything to survive at the end. She literally runs away from her execution. She tries to trick everyone so they feel bad for her. I mean, yeah, her motivation seemed good because she's trying to sacrifice the lives of everyone in the killing game to look after the entire population of the country. But it's implied that really all she wants to do is keep herself alive, and she was willing to sacrifice everyone else to do so. So yeah, that second post-trial is just really powerful because of that. The girl whose life seemed to revolve around helping others cared about herself when the situation went to the extreme, so that aspect of her character was extremely well done. And then we have her character in the rest of the game. Here she's acting like how you'd expect a maid to act, and I think this is why she's one of my least favorite characters in the game. While her final moments are very powerful, for most of the game, I wasn't that interested in her dialogue. I didn't really find anything she said to be interesting, entertaining, or funny. She was just kind of there for most of the game until that maid character broke at the end. So yeah, overall she's okay. I just wish she had more things going on for her in the daily life sections, and I think she could have been a lot better. Then we have Angie, and Angie is amazing for many reasons. Now, I actually made a poll a while back between Angie, Tenko, and Himiko, and my goal with that poll was actually to make a three-way tie. For some reason, I just wanted to pick three characters that I thought were evenly popular and get people to vote on their favorite one and make those numbers on the poll look nice. I was actually very confident when I picked these three characters. I thought I could get a 33, 33, 34 split and create the best poll ever made, but then Angie just got wrecked by Tenko and Himiko, which really caught me off guard. I honestly expected the results to be much closer, but it is what it is. And hey, it made me realize that Angie's one of the least popular characters, so I'll talk about why I like her so much. First, I like how she's another person that causes havoc, other than the antagonist character. If Byakuya, Nagito, and Kokichi are the only ones causing distrust and havoc, then that's honestly kind of boring, so I do like it when other characters do something crazy, and Angie fits that role perfectly. Honestly, she does feel more like the antagonist in those early chapters compared to Kokichi. Kokichi's kinda in the background for that time, until chapter 4 and chapter 5, where he finally gets his time in the spotlight. In chapter 2 and 3, we have Angie, and I first want to talk about her little cult that she made. Her cult in chapter 3 was basically her own way of stopping the killings, as she tried to manipulate people, enforce rules, and even break things like the flashback lights. Her manipulation might seem a little goofy, but remember the people she's converting are the ones that will fall for it easily, like Gonta or Kibo. She never tries it on people like Shuichi, because she knows that's not gonna work. I also like her dynamic with Himiko and Tenko in the second trial. When Himiko gets accused, Tenko defends her, because she just feels like Himiko couldn't hurt anyone. Now, Angie was also friendly with Himiko in the daily life, but when it came time for that trial, Angie put Himiko in the hot seat right away. If Himiko had a chance to be the culprit, Angie would pursue that line of questioning more and more, and call out Himiko as the culprit. Logic versus emotion was an interesting theme to touch on, and Angie did it very nicely. In that sense, I feel like she fits in with Celeste and Hyoko as the characters who just call out people, which I really like. So yeah, overall, I really like her, and she's one of my personal favorites. Next, we have Kurakio. Now, my thoughts on Kurakio are very similar to my thoughts on Kurumi. I've been called out for hating Kurakio because of the whole incest thing in chapter 3, but that's not really the case. The only reason why I sounded like that in my third case syndrome video is because that's how I imagine most people would react to it. Obviously, there's a reason for why he is the way he is, but the thing is, I was never a big fan of Kurakio from the start. And by the time his big reveal happened, I didn't care too much because I didn't have too much investment in his character in the first place. But that's not to say there isn't anything I like about him. I do like his creepy remarks throughout the game. Examples of this are when he talks about how much he loves the ugly parts of humanity. In chapter 2, he openly talks about how he loves the killer's plan. The guy says some questionable things, and they are fairly interesting. His free time events are also quite interesting. I did like learning about anthropology, so those are fun. His story with his sister manipulating him is somewhat interesting, and his performance in chapter 3 is actually entertaining. I think what interferes with that is just the pacing of the trial. The trial is very slow, but if you look at how entertaining Kurakio's antics are, I think he actually does a good job of being that insane third killer. Overall, he is one of my least favorites, like I said before. There just isn't too much I like about him. It's only specific moments where I find his character entertaining, but he's not bad by any means. And finally, we have the Mastermind, Tsumugi Shirogane. You all knew she was going to be here. A lot of people don't like Tsumugi because her character is meant to be plain, and then when she finally gets to do something, she becomes the mastermind of the most polarizing trial in the series. So originally, I did view Tsumugi as that plain character, but at some point, I actually started to find her more funny. I don't know when that transition happened, but a lot of her lines were just funnier, and I thought she was more than just the plain person the game wants you to think she is. I also do like all the foreshadowing moments with her. She has a lot of them, and every single foreshadowing moment with her is very entertaining. Then we have her performance as the mastermind, and you guys probably already know that I love it. I love how she pretends like she cares about everyone, and then transitions into Junko and everyone else. So yeah, I definitely like her more than I used to. Before, I would have considered her to be the worst character in the game, but now I think she's closer to the middle of the list. I also do find it interesting how she opposes Shuichi in the scrum debates. I think that's a pretty cool detail. So yeah, that's all for this mini-series. That's all for the V3 cast. Like I said before, I've forgotten quite a bit about the cast in this game, so if I didn't go too in-depth with these characters, you know why. As for the next video, I don't really know what I want to make it on. I was planning on doing a Danganronpa 0 review, but I didn't finish reading it. I got halfway through it, but then The Great Ace Attorney came out, and I stopped reading. I kind of just stopped doing everything after that game came out. I will do more Danganronpa stuff, but I do realize I'm kind of transitioning into an Ace Attorney phase right now. I wouldn't say I'm losing interest in Danganronpa or anything, but after you're in a fandom for a while, it's just natural to go to something else. And Ace Attorney is always that series for me that's up there with Danganronpa. I like them equally, and I do want to do a lot more Ace Attorney stuff. So if you do see some Ace Attorney stuff here, don't be surprised. Hopefully I can build an Ace Attorney community here as well, because I really do like the games and I want more discussion related to them. So yeah, we'll see what happens. That's all for today. See you guys next time.